how should you set up to return serve on the forehand side? Well, you want to make sure that you approach the first serve and second serve differently. For a first serve, you want to go ahead and stand a little bit further back. I want you to step on the right line on the back line, and I want you to stand one step behind the baseline. If you're playing against a big server, you can go further back. If you're playing against somebody who's a soft server, I want you to stand a little bit more forward up. Don't stand further back with a soft server, because a lot of times you're going to catch the ball in the low part of the bounce, so you can't generate any power, and you're hitting it over the net versus hitting it through or over or high over the net. When the ball comes nice and hard, actually, when you're playing a stronger server, you want to take a shorter backswing on the forehand side, but you still want to lean in and step in. I don't want to see you hit the ball and lean back. Short backswing, step in, and move forward. Now, second serves. Second serves, you want to make sure you have a different approach. For the second serve, you want to make sure that when the ball comes, you're stepping in a little bit closer. Even if your opponent has a decent second serve, you want to step in a little bit closer to intimidate. You want to see your opponent get a little bit nervous on on their second serve. You want to get some free points on those second serves. So for the second serve, I don't want you to stand completely on the forehand side. I want you to stand a little bit more into the court, only because people who want to play it safe serve those second serves in the middle of the box, or slightly to the backhand, or slightly to the forehand, but nobody actually wants to hit the line and could double fault because they're going for too much. So you want to make sure that when the ball comes towards that middle, you're not standing in a corner, you're standing a little bit closer in so that you can cover that middle, that ball that lands in the middle of the box. Or if it comes to your backhand, you can take a few more steps and run around and still attack with that forehand and keep that ball offensively driving through the court, possibly attacking that backhand corner or an open corner if your opponent likes to serve further from the side of the court instead of the middle of the court. You want to make sure you take advantage of that situation. Now, as you well know, taking advantage from the first ball off will make the whole point much easier. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of these second serves. Step into the court, watch where your opponent's swinging, see the patterns. If your opponent's serving consistently down to your backhand side, confidently run around and attack that ball right away. Don't second guess. If the ball's coming 9 times to your backhand, 9 second serves, don't stand on the forehand side and try to run slowly around because you weren't set up, and then you're going to hit a sloppy forehand instead of coming around and hitting a good forehand and being aggressive with it because you knew it was coming to the backhand. So watch those patterns. Also, try to make sure you watch your opponent's toss. When your opponent's about to make impact with the ball, you want to make sure that you start seeing some patterns on their serve as well. If they toss the ball behind their head and the ball goes to your backhand, and they toss it to the right and it comes to your forehand, well, watch the toss. If they toss it to their forehand, expect the ball to come to your forehand. Get your racket ready and attack that ball on the forehand side. If you see them tossing it behind their head, then you know it's coming to your backhand. Come around that backhand, be prepared to attack through the other side by running around your backhand and hitting a forehand. There are some players that are more skilled that are able to toss it to their backhand side and still tilt it and make that ball come around to the forehand side, or people who toss it to the right and still hit to the backhand side. For those types of players, you just want to be on the lookout where they go on important points and how you want to set up for them. Also, there's some players who pick their spots. They will consistently serve the first serve to the forehand side and consistently serve the second serve to the backhand side. Or backwards, they'll serve the first serve to the backhand and the second serve to the forehand. So you always want to be ready for that. Start seeing those patterns. Start watching those tosses. See how your opponent sets up their feet. If their feet are positioned more sideways for one side, for one type of serve versus another serve, watch that as well. So watch their feet, watch their hands, and start seeing those patterns so that you can start being aggressive on those second serves and get more free points.